Notre Dame last week landed a commitment. It was a bit of a surprise in that I was on a cruise last week, so I don't know for sure, but I don't believe it was like reported that this guy was visiting or anything like that. But then you just get all out of the blue. Oh, Devyn Ford, a former Penn State running back, is transferring to Notre Dame. 5'11", 200 pounds from Stafford, Virginia. Spent 4 seasons at Penn State. Statistically, let's see, Tim. Not blowing you away. Played in 27 games, 133 attempts, 629 yards, 6 touchdowns. Last year, maybe those stats aren't updated because it looks like on those stats it didn't say 2022.
He played. He did what Jacob Lacey did. He played 4 games and redshirted.
Okay, so 7 rushes for 37 yards last year. I believe he was battling injury. I don't know a ton about him. Again, I was out last week, but yeah, out of high school, ranked pretty high. Rivals had him as the nation's number 40 player, number 1 all-purpose back in the 2019 class. I mean, ESPN 24/7 ranked him highly. On 3 wasn't around yet, so they didn't have their own ranking, but ranked really high. Which everyone tells me that means you're going to be an elite recruit. Ford, though, just hasn't really worked. Hasn't had that production. But when you look, Tim, at Notre Dame's scholarship room, you have Audric Estime, right? That's your bell cow. Yep. That's the guy. Behind him, I think Jadarian Price had 4 carries last year, Jabran Payne had like 3 or 4 carries last year. Jeremiah Love obviously hasn't stepped on a college campus yet to start Notre Dame. He gets there in a couple weeks. And Jadarian Price was out last year with his injury, Achilles injury, which is a serious injury to recover from. Jabran Payne has a history of injuries. Jeremiah Love hasn't even practiced for Notre Dame yet. So it made sense to go get a transfer running back, right? So you didn't need, this elite talent. You needed a depth piece. Obviously, you want the best player you can get, but this made sense for Notre Dame. I'm rambling, Tim. What are your thoughts on Devyn Ford picking Notre Dame?
I mean, with Logan Diggs leaving, right. The first thing I said was, okay, now Audric Estime needs to be the 2020, 2021 Kyron Williams. He needs to be the horse. He needs to be the guy that's going to be on the field 90% of the time. I think that's going to happen. I don't think we're going to see a big rotation. I just don't. You have Sam Hartman. You got some young guys on the interior. So you're going to need someone I'm a big believer in running back and pass protecting. I think Notre Dame brought in Sam Hartman to throw the ball 35 times a game. I think they're going to throw the ball a lot this year. I just do. So the ground pound, 55 times running duo at teams is probably not going to happen this season. So going out and getting a very, a guy that's coming from Penn State. So it's not like they're getting some guy from the MAC who's been roaming around. They're getting a guy from Penn State. They're getting a top 100 running back. They're getting a guy that's been coached, has played in games, has been through an elite program, elite everything for 4 years. So it's a depth piece, whatever that buzzword you want it to be. I think a very smart move. So behind the scenes, and plus Jared, Parker was at Penn State when he was there, I believe, as a freshman. So he probably remembers him and knows of him and things of that nature. So
that's a good point.
Smart move. I think it's a very smart move for Notre Dame to bring in a guy. When I say established is in he knows how to work. He knows how to do the meetings. He knows how to do all that thing. And my biggie in all of this, people are like, there's a lot of people that are like, oh, we're not going to miss Logan Diggs. You're going to miss Logan Diggs. You just are. And those that don't think you are, I don't understand, but that's your opinion. They got a guy who, if Estime's out, who do you want pass proing on 3rd and 7? That's my big thing is you got guys that haven't done it or a guy that's done it in the Big Ten for 4 years. So it's a smart move. It's a really good move. And it works out and they have him for 2 years, so be it. And if it doesn't, he's a grad transfer and he moves on after this year. Boom. They got an E.S. Williams next year and you've had a whole year of getting these young guys ready for 2024. So smart move by Notre Dame to bring him in.
what do you have to lose? I mean,
Yes.
you have the scholarship numbers, you need the depth. I mean, I think he would have been number 3 on the Penn State running back depth chart. I think they have, what is the kid,
Sure.
Katron Allen and Nicholas Singleton. Singleton's wow, that I could write a book on that recruitment. But in terms of Notre Dame, yeah, Ford comes to Notre Dame. He's gonna get a master's degree from Notre Dame, and good for him. I hope he stays 2 years and gets that. And there's not really a downside for Notre Dame. I think it would be unwise again if you go into this season behind Audric Estime with 2 carries on your roster. Like you needed to go get a depth piece here. I mean, it's not like at the quarterback position where you're playing one quarterback, right? You're going to play 2-3 running backs in a game. You needed this. And I should mention, Tim, while we put Chris Tyree as a wide receiver, he could always be there at running back, right? So if Estime does get hurt, and I personally am not expecting Chris Tyree to be like the top 3 guy in receiving yards or receptions on the team. That's just me personally. So you could always move Tyree back there. It should be mentioned. Do you any thoughts on that, Tim?
No, exactly. I mean, there's another guy, Chris Tyree, who's got 3 years in the running back room. So, I mean, he could go back there and run for 20 carries in a game if need be, if Estime's out. Sure, running back's riding a bike. It's just footwork, boom. He hasn't done it. If he's out there running bubbles and quick outs and jet sweeps and all that, put him back, work on his steps. He'll be no problem. But yeah, but Tyree, and then just bringing in Ford's good, because now this was one of the issues last year was Tyree. There was always rumors that they wanted to move Tyree to the slot, but they couldn't because remember Diggs got hurt in the spring. So you had to have Tyree as that second back going into the season. And then Price gets hurt. So then Tyree has to stay at running back for the entire season. So, I mean, you're looking there. I mean, we could love Jeremiah Love, all that stuff. I mean, he could come out here and, he could get injured just like Price did last year and he's gone. Price coming back from Achilles, which we don't know when he's going to be back. And to expect him to come back and be the same guy he was a year ago is fool's gold. It's not smart. And then Payne hasn't gotten over 10 carries in a game since the sophomore year in high school.
Yeah.
Right? Because he was so banged up a lot his junior and senior year. So smart move from Notre Dame to bring him in. And like you're saying, it hurts nothing because they got scholarships. Here we were, 6 weeks ago, right? Mike Ty, oh my God, Notre Dame's at 95.
No.
They're at 95. How are they going to get 95? Notre Dame's at like 80. So
we never said that. We were just
we did it. That's the message board is.
Yeah.
And I love when you get on there and you always talk about it. It's always going to work itself out. And here it is. They have open scholarships and they went out and got a good Penn State football player.